You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hack.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
Yeah, we're live. Right this second.
Right now, Pam.
Hey.
Say what up to the people.
You're on camera now.
It's a Wheat Juice Man right here.
Weed Juice, sit on down. Sit on down. Y'all caught him delivering juices, which means he was late. Hey, it's Monday. This year is flying by at warp speed.
Crazy.
Engage. Listen. It's about having conversations that everybody doesn't want to have or people are reluctant to have. I'm going to have the conversation today. And we're going to talk about it shortly. But you know the deal. Before I get into my conversation for the day, the topic for the day, we like to promote businesses, black-owned businesses, people who are out there trying to get their hustle on but can't afford marketing and promotion, radio airtime, ad time. So with that said, let me bring in my first guest, Wanda.
Yes.
Mind-blowing mobile, right?
Yes.
Listen, this woman has revolutionized my business flow with that damn app. We got nearly 3,000 people who have downloaded the app. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, you can get it on Android, and you can get it on, what is it?
iTunes.
iTunes, right? You can get it on that Apple Store thingy, majiggy, right? Zoe Williams, no spaces in the name. ZOWILLIAMS. We got damn near 3,000 downloads. And I'm going to say Apple's or iPhone users, step your game up. Because the Android, right now, we got way more Android. I think we got 3 times the amount of Android downloads than we do Apple downloads. But let me bring in the creator, the brains behind the app. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Miss Wanda Trotter of Mind Blowing Mobiles. Wanda?
Yes.
Tell them why you're so special and why it is necessary for the survival of your business to get an app. By you.
That's right, by me. Well, first of all, we are very passionate about helping entrepreneurs to grow their business. So that is actually our main focus. Once you get an app through us, we help you to get your return on your investment. You're going to get your money back and then some, because that is our main focus, is to help you grow your business.
Wow. Now, there are some fees that are incurred, right, when you get an app. And sometimes those fees come from push notifications. Why do, app developers limit the push notifications? What is the purpose of that? And what is a push notification?
A push notification is a message that you can send out instantly, and people will receive it instantly as well. Now, you can pre-program them if you want to pre-program your messages in advance. You know something is coming up. However, they are very effective for sending out last-minute information, discounts, promotions, or just staying in touch with everybody.
So you could communicate with everybody who downloaded your app by using the push notifications, correct?
Yes, and it has a much higher return. People are going to see your notifications compared to social media, which only about 5 to 7% may see your message, or emails, about 20% on the high end may see your message. But with push notifications, you got a 99.9% of people seeing your message.
Now, do most app developers charge for the amount of push notifications? And if they do, how many push notifications do you normally get for free? What is the standard?
Well, we offer unlimited. You can send as many as you want, but most other companies will charge you. You'll get 2 per month. Some will allow you maybe 1 per week.
2 per month, 1 per week? Wow.
1 per week, I know, yes.
So this is what I want you to do right now. Oh, is that me? Is that my app? That 4.9 rating ain't high enough. I need a 5.0 rating. Whoever was the one hater, or it's 3 haters, I see. I'm coming for you. One hater gave me a 1. I'm coming for you, hater. I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you, hater. I got 92 5 stars. Anyway, let's do something special right now. I want everybody who follows me to follow Wanda. Right? Everybody who's listening to the show, I want you guys to go hook up with Wanda. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have a small business, please find her at mindblowingmobiles.com. And
yes.
Wanda, what are you about to do right now to show people the effectiveness of the push notifications?
I am getting ready to send out a push notification right now.
So all 3,000 people who have my app will get a push notification right now containing all of Wanda's information, correct?
It's going to contain a discount for anybody who's interested in a mobile app.
Oh, man. So this is money. She's giving away money right now. I want to see it on Twitter. Somebody let me know when the notification comes to you. Hit me on Twitter. Say, I got my notification from Wanda. Send it out right now, Wanda. Let's see it.
Here's the kicker. It's only going to be good for up to 1 hour after your show. Then it will disappear.
Hey, so you got to move. You got to get active. Tough acting, tenacting. Let's do it. Send it out right now. I want to see it come through. I want to see it come through.
Wanda, I need an app.
You do need an app.
Okay, it's done. It's done.
Dope. Listen, I appreciate you for coming on the show. And please let me know the activity that was had, the activity that went down, the feedback based off of the push notification. I appreciate you so much, and we're going to keep doing business together. Great business, okay, Wanda?
I appreciate you, too. Thanks so much for everything.
All right, and I'm going to hook up Weed Juice because he needs an app, too. We're going to hook him up.
I can reach out to you today, I guess. You know, after I finish training, I reach out.
Take advantage of this coupon that I just sent out. I'm not offering this ever again.
Uh-oh. Don't talk about it, be about it. There it is. Appreciate you, Wanda. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Okay, thanks. I love your show. Bye-bye.
There we go. Now, Weed Juice is in the building. Strawberry lemonade, apple, pear, lemon. I'll be taking this. And the baby, I'm a star. White grape, strawberry. I'm not even finished with the commercial, and he got his little hands on stuff. You sure you would get the juice that match your shirt? It's cool. It's cool.
I want that one you got in your hand. I tried that one. The one you got in your hand, that one is dope.
I'm up in here with this. Weed Juice is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
Damn it.
Weed Juice is in the building. Please go support this brother's business. Again, this dude is, man, forget the business. The dude got a heart of gold.
He don't know nothing about basketball, but he got a heart of gold.
Dude got a heart of gold, man.
I played football, by the way, and ran track. I know a lot about that.
Don't get it twisted.
That's right.
So listen, continue to support Weed Juice. Very, very positive, brother. Very, very positive business. Let's cash mob all of the businesses today. Also, I want to promote LaShawn Grice, comedian, actress, writer, and host. She has a book called Side Chicks Unite, LLC. Let me tell you, I'm not a person who reads novels and stuff like that, but I read her book. And it was interesting as hell. It got jewels in it. It outlines, and in a satirical kind of way, it outlines a lot of the issues that are befalling the black community in terms of relationships. And I don't even think she meant to write a relationship book. This is like a story, But the narrative in here, man, it's like, wow, this is who we've become. This is a lot of, I mean, it's an issue. Please go support LaShawn Grice's work, Side Chicks Unite, LLC. I don't want to give up too much of it. Go get that book right now. Also, Freedom Paper Company. If you're wiping your ass, it should be with paper from a black-owned tissue company.
Wipe your black ass with it.
Right? That's what should happen. I mean, if you're going, there's no reason you should be buying Charmin.
No.
When there's a black man who put together Freedom Paper Company. Please. The brother sent me 96 rolls. You know how much 96 rolls is of double ply, 2 ply? The box was as big as a bassinet.
Bring a couple of them to training on Friday, brother.
Wow.
So you run a little low. You run a little low on the. I can't share can't share toilet paper. I don't even know what kind of request that was, but
Wrapped up, brother.
you want me to pay you in some toilet paper?
All
That's
wrapped
cool. Anyway, please continue to support Freedom Paper Company. They do a great job. That brother has an incredible business, and it needs to be supported every day of the week by us, his folk. I brought crack today. I brought crack. ShepherdSweets.com. She created some other stuff that I was supposed to pick up. I didn't pick up. But it's a Father's Day kind of flower pot filled with sweet potato cakes and sweet potato ball cakes.
Making it better. Zoe.
and the Candy Crunch. She like made edible flowers and candy out. It's nuts. It's bananas. I just didn't feel like carrying all of it. Pull up Shepherd Sweets right there. It is right there. But it's one for men. That little flower pot.
Yeah.
It's like a Father's Day candy variety pot. I'm gonna tell you, my son's coach came in and bought not the coach that he has now, the coach that he had years ago when he was younger. Came in and bought a sweet potato cake, and you know, I ain't got nothing to do with it. This ain't my business. He saw me on the street.
Damn.
That cake. You know, like you know, the awkward moment in Coming to America. Oh, the shoe. Oh, you like the show? No, the cake. He was talking about the cake, man.
The cake is
so the cake is crazy. So please continue to support ShepherdSweets.com. It's the least I could do. You know, I didn't marry the girl. Shit, the least I could do is support the business. She's a good woman though. Raised some wonderful children for me. Damn, least I can do is mention her wonderful sweets.
Funny as hell.
So that's it. Oh, wait a minute. The relationship dismount. You got to get it. You got to go get it right now. The relationship dismount. How to stick the landing when exiting a toxic relationship at imzowilliams.com. You also got to get Real Men Don't Play because Bobby is ornery. This title is apropos. He don't play with nobody. Even when he joking, he ain't playing. Real men don't play. You love that. Come on, Bobby. You love it. Even when he joking, he ain't playing. Real men don't play. You got to get a book. It's a must-read. A manhood manual. Got to support that. And that's it. Listen, we about to duck up out of here. We at the end of the show, Kevin, Bobby, and everybody else will be promoting their businesses as well. We about to get up out of here, but when we come back, today's topic is going to go through the roof. I'll be back at 2.2 T Radio V. That's Radio and TV. The Zoe What Morning Show. We up out of here.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
king, and the apes climb down from the tree.
I'm Laura Samoza.
I'm Sterling Gardner.
And we are Between the Sheets every Monday here, 3 p.m., tradiov.com.
T-Radio V.
That's right, it's T-Radio V, radio in TV. What is that face?
He wants to see our hands.
That's radio in TV. Wah, 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 wah.
We're not a couple.
Hey geeks, wake up! We got big news. I'm not gonna mumble this time. Geekscape, the long-running movie video game. Let me do one more. Hey geeks, we got big news! Geekscape, your favorite show about movies, video games, comics, and TV, is coming to T-Radio V Monday, October 6th. And it'll be on every Monday from then on, 7 p.m. Until the apocalypse happens, we're all eaten by zombies.
You are watching T-Radio V, radio in TV.
Why is a white guy like me co-hosting a black radio show? I think toxic relationships cause you to take poorer care of yourself. If you can recognize danger, if you can pause, if you can take some breaths, refocus, and engage, you might be able to dodge a bullet that you're going to send coming towards you. One of the things that men don't get is that often women need to vent first to clear their mind. So today's topic is going to be do we treat animals better than the world treats a lot of groups, especially African Americans? And, with the, what was the name of the gorilla that got shot?
Harambe!
Harambe and Cecil the lion. So here's my spin on it. One of the reasons animals get treated better than human beings is because they're naked. And by naked, I mean, and why a lot of times people say a dog is a man's best friend, is they're not perceived as manipulative. They're kind of direct. You know, when you get home, they are often the only one that's happy to see you. Often when you get home, you don't sometimes see a lot of people that you're related to happy to see you. And so I think we project on animals a kind of love that we need to reserve more of that for our fellow human beings. But I think what happens is we perceive other human beings as trying to manipulate us, even when they're not. And so even before they say or do anything, we're already set to shove whatever they're going to say down their throat, whereas animals they're just sort of honest. Also, you got a pet cat, pet dog, they look you in the eye differently than human beings look you in the eye. I mean, human beings don't look you in the eye without some sort of a challenge, whereas animals, it's like, would you feed me? Would you hold me? Would you take me out? And maybe we can learn something from that honesty, because human relationships have become very inauthentic. You're always looking for that agenda. What's on that person's mind? How are they trying to do me today? Well, I'm not going to let them. So I think there's a lot to be learned, and we're going to have a great show today.
Are you telling? Was he justifying it?
No.
Okay, just felt a little justified.
He never defends me, geez.
No, I don't think.
I think I was justifying it just so you can get on my nerves.
I don't think you justified it as much as something that most white people. And I love you anyway, but most white people are guilty of is you grossly oversimplified it, which is. That's fair, because that is one aspect of why animals are revered, but that's not why animals are treated better than black people. Animals are treated better than black people because the system doesn't think that in an animal's subconscious mind that they're in the zoo going, you know what? You took me away from everything I know and brought me here to work against my will. I'm going to fuck you up one day. They don't think that the animal thinks that. They think, black folk think that. So reactionarily, we got to keep our foot on these people's neck, because one day they're going to all wake up and go, you know what, we don't care that we're only 12%, as long as each one of us kills 3 white people, we're good. They don't think that. They don't think monkeys think like that, and that's.
Doc, do white people really care about black people? And I mean care, I mean empathize, because there is a racial empathy gap.
No, there is a racial empathy gap, but I'll tell you, it's beyond race. The world has become transactional, and you cannot be transactional and feel remorse, empathy, or compassion.
Wow.
I mean, look at. In fact, I went to a political evening.
I just heard someone.
No,
I'm sorry.
I went to a political evening, and I was so disheartened because a lot of politicians from Los Angeles were there, and you never saw their eyes didn't touch their mouths. I mean, and I was thinking afterwards, what that means is they're not being real. They're not being honest. They have an agenda. They have a hidden agenda. And I think the more transactional you are, the less remorseful you are when you hurt someone, done someone wrong. I think the less compassion, less empathy. So I think as the world's become more transactional, people think, what do they say? When you're a hammer, the world's a nail. When you're transactional, everything's a deal. And I think the world is going to hell in a deal in a handbasket.
You know, it's really crazy. I just heard, this is why I always go against people who call themselves relationship anything, right? People say, oh, Zoe, you should call yourself a relationship expert. No, I can't be the expert of your situation. I can't, right? I cannot be the expert of your situation. The best I could give you is a subjective view of what I see from the outside, and none of that should be taken as infallible gospel.
Right.
Right? I heard a relationship person say we should deal with each other like businesses. And I thought it was you know how they say the self-help books that people write are the most damaging to the person's psychology, to the person's psyche? Because a lot of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they turn so-called ideas and concepts into truths, into axioms. Listen, an axiom for me may be a 100% falsehood for you. So there's nothing I could say that is axiomatic to you.
So do you think this is bullshit, that the secret to getting through to people is to listen to them?
What I think...
That's a self-help book.
No. What I think about basic things, listening. Well, listening is part and parcel to communicating. So what happens is, as with most things that humans are involved in, there's fragmentation and imbalance. So when it comes to communication, most people just want to talk. They don't want to listen. So what they're doing is not using the full scope of what communication is. So when you say, do you think listening, is a self-help book and it's good? Of course, that's a basic axiom. Listen to me when I'm talking to you, and listen intently, or what is known as active listening, right? Engage what I'm saying objectively so you can understand and be able to put together a response. That's good. Bobby?
Well, most of us, including me from time to time, are tuned into a universal station, WII-FM.
WII-FM.
What's in it for me? And that's okay to the point where we realize how interrelated we are. What's really happened, I think, to Doc's point is we have been bombarded with that me message to the extent that we doesn't even enter into the conversation anymore until we're up against that wall. And we can use a basketball analogy. There's been a number of great players who never won a championship, and they've been labeled as losers because they didn't win a championship, when the truth of the matter was they weren't on a better team. And we're watching that right now with this Golden State Cleveland situation. In my opinion, LeBron the best player in the game today, but he cannot beat that team by himself. And when it comes to matters of race, we keep trying to win as individuals because we got caught up in that I thing to the point where I'm doing better than you are. So as a result, good luck to you and the group.
So let me ask you this question, Jabu and Kevin. Let me ask. Is Black Lives Matter aimed in the wrong direction then? They're campaigning, these politicians. Shouldn't they be on the ground in the hood, changing the way black people view black people? Shouldn't it be like a religion, some type of doctrine to teach black people to care about black people? Because how is anybody going to care about us if we don't care about ourselves? What do you think of that? I'm just asking the question.
Well, I'll let Jabu answer then, because I got some shit to say. So,
I've been following the Black Lives Matter, and I have a feeling that they're representing their views based on when crimes are committed by non-whites against black people. That's the only way that I feel like they're speaking out. But when crimes are committed by black people on black people, we don't see that happening. So I would like to see that happen more often.
So earlier you asked the question, do white people care about black people? And then we're going back to the Black Lives Matter. We were talking about this before the show, about Black Lives Matter and how they were all on Hillary Clinton for some shit that she didn't even know that she didn't do or she had effect on, whereas they're not on the ground in Chicago where they should be. And we were talking about that's because Black Lives Matter is more of a movement and not an organization. See, they're not organized. So in society, you need to, the word society or social, it goes back to being allied. And because black people aren't allied, they don't exist socially or even legally, as well as that black being a color. So legally, you're saying that you're not real. This is what the legal word of color means. So then socially, because you're not allied, you can't be seen. And we keep going back to this term of what you're calling yourself. Zoe, what's the color of your shirt or your hoodie?
This hoodie is black.
That hoodie is black. Now, is anyone in here the same color as that hoodie?
No, but we know a few
I
people.
know some dudes that color.
black.
But
Seal is that color.
Huh?
Seal is that color.
Seal ain't that color. Seal can put that shit on and that will still be darker than Seal.
Yeah, Seal is dark coffee.
Yes. So the point is, you guys have to understand what your status is. This whole damn society, this whole country, this whole world really is about status. If you look at Game of Thrones is about status. You have kings, you have lords, you have vassals, and you have slaves.
Right.
And all of those are statuses in law. So the king, he runs everything. Then the lord, he's right up under the king. He has lands here and there. Then the vassals are subject to the land of the lord. That's where the landlord came from. And so they're tied to the land. This is where the serfs and everything comes from. Now, the head vassal of his house or his land, he was the house bond. That's where husband comes from. And he was in charge of the familus, which means all the slaves under one roof.
Yeah.
That's where family comes from. So you guys are dealing in a game that you have no idea what the fuck is going on.
I like
and
this.
until you change your status, until you understand what your status is, first of all, legally, and then find out how to change it, you're never going to get out of this shit. You're going to keep talking about why black people this, why black people, why black, because your motherfucking ass is black. Now, the only way to get out of this shit is, now you need to come together and get money. That's a way you can subvert the system. You don't need to call yourself anything. You can keep calling yourself black if you're going to do that. Or you need to understand what you are and change that in law. Get some knowledge.
Jeff, Doc, then Bobby.
Who got a dog? Who here besides me got a dog? Ever had a dog? Okay, Doc. What breed is your dog?
Beagle, 2 dachshunds.
Okay, Beagle and 2 dachshunds.
A beagle. You got Snoopy?
Okay, you got Snoop. You got Snoop over there. Okay. Do you have any children in your family?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mistreat your dogs? I would imagine not. No. You take them to the vet when they need it.
I know, but my wife yells.
Okay, she yell at them. Yeah, okay, that ain't mistreating them. I yell at my dogs.
He threw his wife
Actually,
under the bus. In
my house, don't get fucked up is a command to the dogs when I leave the house. Don't get fucked up, and they know what that means. That means don't do nothing you're supposed to. Do you now, as sweet as you are to your dogs, I bet they're probably in some family Christmas portraits. They probably, some people have little booties for them to wear. What happens to your dog if it bites one of your children?
That's his ass. That's his smooth ass.
Hasn't happened, but I know where you're going. Once the dog becomes dangerous, it's a whole different category.
It got to go.
It's got to go.
Well, regardless to how they may try, regardless to how nice they may be. Most empathetic white people that don't have their eyes entirely open, I'm not talking about like the Tim Wise kind of white folks. I'm talking about those a half a degree under him. Look at us the same way they do their pets. I'm not going to mistreat you. I'm not going to ride around with the Klan. I'm not going to get in a truck, go look for some niggas to hang. No. However, you're not on the same level as I am in here. And the smarter ones of you, the more gifted ones of you, are you kind of like a horse that can deal cards. You're a novelty. And it is because they do not, for whatever reason, those people have a hard time seeing you on the same physical level. That means they can only to a level empathize with your situation, your pain, your children when they die, your dreams when they don't come to fruition, your people when they get sick. They only can see it here. And here is a nice cordial place, but it's not on the level of family.
Doc, then Bobby.
I want to build on something Kevin said, and you can say I misunderstood you. I don't know that it's Black Lives Matter. I think Black communities matter. And the idea is, because what we've talked about, Asians have communities, Jews have communities, and you have this feeling, you take on one, you take on all of them. But if you have a fragmented community, then you can be divided and conquered and mistreated. And until there is a black community, that's based on survival, pride, black economics, I think the Black Lives thing is, you got to have a community first. So tell me where I'm wrong.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. I said if you, the word social or society goes back to the word allied. That's what it means, to be allied. So because black people or melanated people are not allied, they do not exist in society. You are blind to society. Everybody else are linked up. You got the Koreans, you got Mexicans, you got Jews, you got Caucasians. Everybody all linked up.
Black community.
Ain't no black community.
Where black people would live is where some white folks got on a map and decided to put you. That's not a community.
Bobby?
What a person does speaks much louder than what they say. So we can have all the mantras we want, Black Lives Matter, recycling black dollars. We can call ourselves any number of things, but the eyes don't lie. And so when we see other people and other people see us, they look at what we do. We promote and advocate certain things, but then at the end of the day, they go in our communities and they'll see everybody's businesses except ours. So it really comes back to, who are we fooling when we talk about Black Lives Matter when there's no evidence in our own midst that our lives matter? It starts with that, and until we understand the frank reality of that, we're going to continue to chase our tail.
Jabu?
I grew up in a society where, back in South Africa during the apartheid system, where white people trained their dogs to bite black people. Regardless of the breed of the dog, dogs were aggressive towards black people. I watched my dad work for white people, and he would be driving with his employer, and he'd be sitting in an open cab in the back, and the dog would sit in the front with his master while it's raining in bad weather. And that's how black people were treated in South Africa. And I come to America, it's not quite the same, but you can tell that there's a difference in how animals
it used
are
to be
treated.
like that. Do you guys ever seen a movie called White Dog?
You ain't got to see no movie. You're sitting next to the movie.
Speak to the mic, Bobby. Into the mic.
I'm from that era.
There you go.
And so I can relate to where he grew up at, because we seen that on television, and there was a connection from the 50s and the 60s. And sometimes people look at me like I'm from the Stone Ages. It hadn't been that long ago where by law I had to sit in the back of the bus, I had to drink out of that water fountain, and had to deal confrontationally with the Klan. And this was understood. You go through that neighborhood right there, you ain't gonna make it home. It was just understood. So when he talk about that kind of conditioning, it happened in my lifetime to the extent where it affects me. And some people say, well, you're too cautious or this and that. It's just that I understand that when we were in a self-contained community, like in my hometown of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, very quickly, I just came back from the 50th reunion of my cousin's class. And I was in a room with people who are now professionals, doctors, lawyers, and everything, and they came out of a black high school and a black community. When we had to live that way, we got much more done economically and socially.
Come on.
I'm just going to say this. There are a lot of animals on the endangered species list.
Yeah.
Black men aren't animals. But we have to be considered to be put on some type of endangered list. Why? Because there are protections in place for animals on a list, but there are no protections in place for a specific human being that's obviously been targeted well before COINTELPRO, well before whatever. We still being targeted, but there's no list and there's no concomitant protections for black men.
Who makes the...
But do you hear what I'm saying?
I do, but...
Go ahead,
so,
Jeff.
In the words of Michael Jackson, with love, brother.
I got you.
You are talking, when you say an endangered species list, let's go back to the day...
Jeff had to talk. I know we were going to break, but he had to.
I had to. I
go
couldn't
ahead.
hold it. This happens sometimes. If you go back to the day before that phrase was coined, there was a group of people who got together and said, wait a minute. This animal or that animal is about to become extinct. We've got to do something. That group of people doesn't give a fuck about black people. Okay?
But
so
Jeff,
the
I know this.
concept of a list.
I know this.
Fuck the list, okay? The stormtroopers are coming over the hill down into the valley where you sit. The stormtroopers make lists, and the stormtroopers have groups, and the stormtroopers have communities. All this shit we're trying to model ourselves after, and these motherfuckers are coming, okay? Fuck the list. Turn around and defend yourself. Bare your fangs for your people, period. Stop, oh, we need a list, and we need to be, no, we don't. Okay, when we come
Jeff,
back.
stop. You made your point.
I said when we come back.
We got to take this break.
I thought you told me to say the break.
No, I didn't tell you to say the break. I told you to say your point.
You said like that. I thought that.
I was talking to Dr. G.
Oh, well, my bad.
I know you ain't paying attention. You just be on one, pushing that barrel down the hill.
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
But Jeff,
radiation. Okay.
Jeff,
huh?
Just really quickly.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not saying that there needs to be a list. I'm saying when people get together to create a list to protect animals, they're showing empathy for animals. I'm not saying there needs to be a list that black men need to be placed on. I'm saying the process that you arrive at. Damn, we down to the last billy goat. I feel bad for these two billy goats.
Last spotted osprey.
Let's put the billy goat on this list to protect them. All I'm saying is there has to be some kind of empathy. And I'm not saying it's got to come from the dominant society. I'm saying that empathy must come from us first.
Yes.
Now we go into break. We'll be back in 2.2 seconds.
They call him Jay, talking about Jay,
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Relationship Dismount is a book that I created. It's a breakup and makeup book. But what's interesting about this particular book is I used gymnastics to come up with a concept based off of sticking the landing. Everybody knows that in a gymnast's routine, one of the most important and crucial to the success of that routine is how they end it, how they finish it. And I decided to come up with the concept of relationship dismount using this metaphor. Sticking the landing, how you end it is how you begin it moving forward. So we wanted to take that metaphor and really expound on it in the context of intimate relationships.
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. That's radio in TV.
Hi, I'm Ty Simpkins. Miss Danielle Basutti. Hi, this is Brooke Peoples. I'm Jocelyn Donahue.
Hi, I'm Keegan Allen, and you're watching
T Radio V. T Radio V.
T Radio V, radio in TV. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
T Radio V. Yo.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
You are watching T Radio V. Radio in TV.
Every major religion on this earth. No white people have ever founded a major religion. Now you need to realize the contributions that have been made to society, to civilization, by brown-eyed people, by people of color. I'm talking about people of color here, folks. And most of us are not aware of those things because we live in a racist society and because we are educated by a racist school system that only teaches us about white contributions. And that's a fact. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. If we would start telling the truth in schools, we would not have racism. We could cure racism in this country. Somebody said, I heard somebody... I heard somebody in the green room say that racism is inbred. No, it is not. Racism is not part of the human condition. Racism is a learned response. You have to be taught to be a racist. You are not born racist. You are born into a race.
Why do I play that video? See, the one-dimensional thinker will assume that I'm playing that video as a plea to white folks to become more empathetic to black folks.
Like that's worked.
I'm saying black folks need to learn how to be more empathetic to black folks. If you can cure racism by telling the truth in the educational system, I posit that you can also kill self-hate. Self-hate is fueling the animosity. If you self-hate your own people, right? Because even with the NBA Finals right now, it's the battle between light skin and dark skin.
Oh, wow.
Dark skinned niggas is better than light skinned niggas. And LeBron and his dark skinned crew is gonna prove it. Well, they got a real dark skinned dude on the Warriors. Draymond might have something to say. It's like a foolish little stupid self-hate war going on. I'm saying, if that lady who was on Oprah, Fat Oprah when she was good, like you said, I'm saying if that lady can say the problem is racism and racism is a doctrine that's taught, then wouldn't the byproduct of racism for the person who is experiencing it be self-hate, and that becomes a doctrine? If we undo the doctrine of self-hate, we don't necessarily need approval, acknowledgement, participation. We don't need a bunch of shit that we seek from them today.
That goes back to understanding who you are, though. As she was talking about, it's something learned. Back to the social construction, or that it was when they created something called the white man or the white race back in 1691. Before that, there was nothing on the books called the white man. They were called by their country a Dutchman, Frenchman, Englishman. And so this is a learned response because they wanted them to learn white privilege because they were all coming together, the blacks.
But wait, take that point and apply it to a socially conditioned black person, whether it be male or female, and you ask them, what are you? What's in your family? Oh, we got Indian. This is where my braided hair come from. On my grandmother's side, we got French, we got Italian.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They find strength in acknowledging the other side because the other side has been conditioned to mean more, to be more valuable. I can't just be
black.
Right, I just can't be black.
Anytime
you shouldn't be just black, though.
Well, anytime, the problem is that when people, and I used to get this a lot, again, because of my hair and my cheekbones.
You got Rottweiler hair.
Yeah. I used to
just natural waves.
I used to tell people, yeah, I trace my genes, and I am Indian.
Yes.
I'm from the All Hell No tribe.
Hell no, no.
Oh hell no.
Hell no.
What the astral black people seek to put an asterisk next to their name. If you are basically in last place in the hood if you can't say I'm black and blank.
No,
and that's fucked.
No, you are last if you say that. So let me
finish your point and then
absolutely. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
If somebody came and they called you homosexual and you had no idea what the term meant, so you started using the word with pride. You was
right.
like, yeah, I'm a homosexual. I'm a homosexual player. Then later on down the line, you found out that meant that you were sexually attracted.
In the cornhole.
Yeah, you were sexually attracted to men.
Okay.
Would you continue to call yourself that?
No.
No. Okay, so black means
once
slave.
You find out.
Yeah, well, once you find out. So in law and in status, the term white means master. The term black means slave. This is what they created them for. And as long as you keep calling yourself that, you're going to always be in a subjugated status.
Okay.
Because even if you go back and look around the world in different languages, the word for white is like in Spanish, it's blanco.
Blanco.
You know, in French, it's bianca. It's
Bianca.
And Portuguese is branco. All of these start with the B. In ancient times, all the words for pale and yellow started with the B, that black term. In the 12th century, that's what it meant. Now, in the 16th century, they started to move that away and said, okay, now we're gonna flip the script and start calling the swarthy people, because that was the name, that was the term for black. There was no term for black. It was swarthy. And so they started to move that and started calling us that because they understood it was a classical change that was happening. So black people, unless you're going to gather together and get all your money together where your status, your color actually doesn't count, because now you got money, you got power. If you're not going to do that, then you need to understand, get on that boat of knowledge and start to understand where your status is and correct that.
Kevin, you've
let Jeff respond.
You've marched me into this round white room with no doors before, and it feels a lot like when I made the mistake of asking my ex what she wanted to eat for dinner and going through every type of restaurant in California, and all she could tell me was no. I need you to tell me, if I'm not going to call myself black, and I'm not going to call myself Negro, what do you call you?
Legally, the status that melanated people have that were free in America on the books, that is still on the books, is Moor. You can find this everywhere in different types of laws where Moors were free and black people were slaves. Even in the Dred Scott case, where the case was supposedly that Dred Scott, he sued for his freedom and he didn't get the freedom because the judge says we don't have any laws for you in our country. What he was telling him was, by what you call yourself, you
we
came
don't have
in
a
here,
status for that.
You called yourself a slave or a descendant of slaves from Africa. By you calling yourself that, we don't have a status for you. We don't have any laws for you.
You disqualified yourself.
Then he compared it. He said, unlike the Native Americans who have their own laws and this and that, you don't have that status. And so most black people in America don't even understand you are descendant. You are Aboriginal Americans. That is what you are. That's the hidden secret that they're trying to hide from you.
Bobby,
again,
and then Jabu.
Again, it's not what people call you; it's what you answer to. And in this regard, the brother sitting here from South Africa, what happened to Nelson Mandela is happening to Muhammad Ali right now. When Muhammad Ali was a full-bodied man, there was great fear and pushback from him. When Nelson Mandela was defiant,
they didn't want no
and
parts
put it
of
all
Nelson.
on the line, 27 years.
They didn't want no parts
Could
of
have
him.
walked at any time. And he said, no, not under those conditions. I will stay right where I'm at because this is bigger than me. So when you start looking at the narrative, that becomes far more important than what you call me. Because if the example is I'm not taking a back seat to anybody, then it ain't going to matter what you call me. Because you got to deal with me in terms of my purpose and my mission and my direction and my interaction with folks. That tells you all you really need to know about who the champions are.
Wow. Wow. Jabu, then Jeff.
In South Africa, white people call us black. However, South African people, we call ourselves according to the cultural background that we have.
What is that?
I call myself Xhosa. Nelson Mandela was a Xhosa. So you have all these different cultural groups that are named according to the language that they speak. Zulus are Zulus because they speak Zulu. Tswanas are Tswanas because they speak Tswana. So we don't define ourselves by the color of our skin. We define ourselves by the cultural background.
And you know what's interesting? That way is detailed and followed in the Bible. Right? In the Bible, Ashur became Ashuric because that was the language they spoke.
That's right.
The people of Ashur spoke Ashuric. Right? And then you get Saraic, and then it comes down into Arabic. But wherever that tribe was and whatever the language that tribe spoke,
was getting down.
The language was named, Aram, Aramic, right? Ancient Hebrew. The tribe of Aram spoke Aramic. And then from there you get Aramaic. You see what I'm saying? So the way you broke it down, like what's happening in Africa, we name ourselves after the language we spoke. This is the best way to get rid of the history, right? You don't get to speak your language no more. When you go back to South Africa, English is the dominant language now. Am I correct?
Actually,
people are speaking English all over the world.
English was the medium of
communication.
Of communication for educational purposes. So
to me, you just said something major.
Well, no shit. We're gonna just kidnap your mind.
So when you go to school, they use English as a medium of transition for education.
Gonna run all knowledge through our shit.
Math, science, all of that. You are instructed in English. There was a time where the Afrikaners wanted us. They wanted to implement Afrikaans, which is a mixture of Dutch and German, as a medium of instruction in our schools, and we fought against that because we felt that we were going to be left behind in terms of education, in terms of us communicating with the rest of the world, because the rest of the world was
speaking English.
Was speaking in English.
Wow. Go ahead, Jeff. Wakanda, vibranium.
Again, I think you alluded to it, and maybe you said it, but I was looking for maybe an answer with, I don't know, 3-4 words in it. What do you call you?
I call myself a Moor status-wise.
There it is.
Status-wise, I'm a Moor.
Moor, all right.
That's free on the books.
One quick note. It's a caveat in this discussion, and that is we all live on one planet. And right now, as we get into these fragmented groups, we all have to deal collectively with environmental issues. For example, it don't matter if you black or white. If it's a flood, then you better hope it ain't in your neighborhood.
You ain't a fish.
Okay. And then you also look at the things that happened just in this past year. In affluent neighborhoods, the environment has affected the quality of life. In our neighborhood, that's just part and parcel of every day. It's going to be some kind of struggle. And I say that in this construct. At some point, we all going to be drawn away from that cultural thing and all these other identities we're going to have to confront the environment and how we make decisions on what's best for the environment, because it's unsustainable to keep doing the things that we're doing.
We who?
Anybody on the planet.
No, we don't make decisions as to what the smog laws are, as to what plants put what chemicals in what rivers. We aren't making those choices.
Well,
when you say we are on this planet together, if you were to add up the decision makers just from, say, King James forward, you don't have 50,000 people. The decision makers that are making those choices that you are talking about, at this point in time come from a predominant group of people, and nobody wants to look at that. That is it's crumbling. It's crumbling, but it hasn't been attacked full scale to where everybody go, wait a minute.
Well, that's the opportunity, though.
Right now,
we're living in the
right
opportunity.
now,
we're living in the opportunity
See,
right now.
This is why I say it's so important to value ourselves.
Yes.
It's so important to be objective in our living. Like, when I say objective, Christians, the majority of them are born in Christian countries, right?
Right.
Right? I give the Christians that's born in a Muslim country more
big
props.
props. Thank you.
Because they were born there and made a conscious choice to say, I ain't following that.
Yep.
I'm doing this. Right? When you're born into an environment, sometimes it's exceedingly difficult to see that environment's effect on you.
That's right.
Right? A fish is in the fucking bowl. Like, this is my world. This bowl is my world. And they don't know anything. They don't know any other worlds. They just know the bowl. So all I'm saying is, at some point, we got, as fish, we got to get up to the rim of the bowl and go, there's some other shit out here.
Yeah. Some Finding Nemo shit going on.
Some Finding Nemo. I got to get back because I ain't really supposed to be here.
I got to get back to the place that's in my dreams because I dream the ocean.
Yeah.
But I wake up in this fucking bowl with that fake diver.
Right. This dude. Right?
Right.
So all I'm saying is we got to get to a space where we say, wait. Hold on. You mean to tell me I'm living a good life because I've achieved certain shit and certain benchmarks that you established? Wait a minute. You mean to tell me I'm serving my community by participating in a socially malignant system, but because I see progress and movement within that malignant system, I'm doing good? I should be thankful.
Right.
Do you see what no one wants to stop and say, wait a minute. If I go to the devil or if I go to hell, right? And then we all know what hell is. Hell is hell, right? This is the place for the damned. But one rises out of hell as a redeemer of hell. That's your politician. You come from hell. You're a demon, but you're a redeemer of hell, and I'm supposed to get behind you?
You supposed to bring me goodness?
This is what's happening in our system today, and nobody is standing up. And it's man, the show is so apropos because Ali died, and Ali was an example
of standing up against this.
Of standing up and going, "Hey, fuck you. This is hell." Mm-hmm. And demons don't get to judge me and tell me I'm wrong for not wanting to go kill people who look like me, who brown like me, 10,000 miles away, when you don't give two shakes of a fat rat's ass about me here.
And gave up the privileges that the Caucasian was giving him to do it.
And was man enough to go, fuck
your
you,
money.
fuck your money, fuck your situation.
Yep, fuck your championship.
Fuck your belt. That's how you transcend the motherfucking fishbowl,
That's
Bobby.
Right. But what was lost in that great stand was the circle around him. It was some brothers stood right behind him and took the same risk at the same time. We just threw that model away. It's just a jersey now. It's a picture that people look at every now and say, oh, that looks pretty cool right there. But we didn't understand the importance of that solidarity, because if it had just been Ali, they'd have took him down.
Allied.
But he had
allied.
He had
Jim
Kareem,
Brown.
he had Jim Brown, he had all of the
Bill
top
Russell.
athletes of the time. So they looked at that and said, you know what?
We got more to lose here.
But then it took off because it made young white kids who was fodder for the war. The poor whites was getting killed too. See, it was 53,000 Americans lost their lives in Vietnam, and enough white folks lost their lives. They wait a minute, where is it at? Why all of a sudden is everybody going over there? they started asking questions, and what I'm getting at is the power of belief. Ali knew that something wasn't right, and it was worth fighting, and if he needed to, he was going to die for it. But he wasn't the only one. What was lost is the people who also believed that. And what we have to resurrect is that understanding that you can't just put your future on somebody else's shoulders unless you're going to get next to them. And that's the bottom line.
Woo! We got to take a quick break. It's turned up in this. Listen. If we don't pull together, like Bobby said, Jeff talks about it all the time. Crash of the dollar. The crash of the dollar ain't just the crash of America. Watch. This the crash of the world.
Yep. Especially
you
niggas.
gonna see the reverberations worldwide.
Yep.
Listen, we gotta take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Hi, I'm Bob Nalbandian, and be sure to watch my show Inside Metal, which airs live every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on T Radio V. I'm going to be bringing in the greatest heavy metal artists live right here in the studio. Once again, every week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Tuesday, right here at tradiov.com, radio in TV.
T Radio V.
What did you play opposite Andy, Eric? Do you remember?
Andy and I worked as two employees at a network.
Okay. Oh, you're forgetting the other thing.
I played a news anchor, and he played a reporter.
Okay, but the other thing you did, the thing you did on the Andy Dick show, who did you play to Andy?
Oh, is that I played my sister?
You played his wife, Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played his wife.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that, Eliza?
Nothing's wrong with it.
He's got a great range as an actor.
Yeah, it just was funny.
Encounters with Eric and Eliza Roberts, Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. on T Radio V.
In Chapter 10, we talk about the difference between being embittered, embattled, or embittered. So, if you're embittered, of course you're holding on to things. You're resentful, you're resistant. If you're embattled, you're fighting. No, I don't accept that. I don't want that. But if you're open and you're allowing the process to unfold and flower within you and beyond you, you have an opportunity to become embittered. And Chapter 10 goes into detail on how to stop being embittered, how to stop looking for the win by being embattled, and how to evolve and expand to a space of embitterment. I mean, it's an incredible work, man, and I'm excited about it.
You've been chasing after short reflections. I can't make you turn up.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
You know, when Reese's makes the peanut butter cup, they no doubt have an area, a plant, a place where the chocolate is made. And they have a place where the peanut butter is made. They then have some ingenious way to put the peanut butter inside of the chocolate. I would imagine the peanut butter makers do not concern themselves with what the fuck the chocolate people are doing. And the chocolate people can give a flying fuck about what the peanut butter people are doing, because they have to come together to make a product. The only thing that they are very clear about is that if we do not come together and coexist, we just a couple of motherfuckers with some chocolate and some peanut butter. We, as people, black people, in this Jeff Brown weed-infused analogy.
Yes, keep going. Handsome, Lord.
Are the peanut butter. Black people, you would think I would make you the chocolate. No. You are the peanut butter. You are surrounded by, infused with, identified by, entirely another ingredient. But that ingredient ain't shit unless you are entirely peanut butter. It ain't shit. What is it? Unless you become peanut butter. Peanut butter is peanuts, oil, and salt being peanut butter. It's not trying to be jelly. It's not going, boy, I sure wish I was chocolate. Boy, I'm going to tell you what. I'll live better if I live like chocolate live. No, it's just peanut butter, and motherfuckers bite into it and go bananas for it, because it is what it is while this thing is being what this thing is being. What has happened to you, black people, is that you have somehow been convinced that your peanut butter isn't important and that you're better not being peanut butter at all. Ooh. So guess what you do? You rush and try to get into the chocolate. You try desperately to get into the chocolate. And it is that trying, it is that push, it is that thing that makes society this delicious Reese cup of black folks' talent being sold by white folks. When if you could just say, you know what? Yes, I'm peanut butter and fuck Reese cups. I'm staying over here, and I really don't give a fuck about being a piece of chocolate. Guess what the Reese cup people got to do now? They got to treat that peanut butter right. I'm done.
Man, if this motherfucker ain't high as a kite.
Got some Reese's in his pocket.
Right. You came up with that. You had the munchies, didn't you?
Yeah,
you know,
I'm still feeling the residual effects of last night's Gorilla Glue number 4.
Motherfucker hiding them up. But again, here we are in this conversation about self-worth, about self-love, and really, to a large effect, about self-esteem coming from the outside in. Who gives a fuck if they love their pets more than they love you? You created the space. Why? What space was created? Racism created a space. Now, the reason why I say you created the space, because we had a Malcolm. We had an Ali, right? We had an MLK. You remember that speech MLK said about loving yourself? They don't show that one with I Have a Dream.
Or the not only that speech.
No, not the not only that speech. The other one, when he talks about self-hate in the black community.
Oh, yeah. That's got 1,500 views.
Right.
I Have a Dream, 18 million.
Listen, we've had people like this to say, look, James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud. We have people to say these things. At some point, we have to take some level of culpability because we think the white man's ice is colder. We think the white man's grass is greener. And we think the white man's success is the true definition of it.
Yes, all your success is made up of, look at the shit, white people, or black people, look at the shit you run out to the mall for. Look at the shit that you get your money back for. It's shit that you think white folks want. Wow. None of that is based in your desire. It's all based in shit you think white people like.
You know, I can't help but overlook the symbolism because you got on a hat that says Africa, and I've lived through a number of trends.
Powerinoneclothing.com, Power in One Clothing, the whole little situation. Go ahead.
And the difference between culture and a trend is so significant. When Spike Lee did the movie Malcolm X, as a part of his marketing genius, he came up with the hat X. And I'd watch all these young people with that hat on, and they had no idea what that represented. And as soon as the movie waned, they went back to wearing somebody else's stuff, and then somebody else's stuff, and then somebody else's stuff. In culture, you're never far removed from your real identity, and that's why the brother spoke of who he really is. You know, so when we start talking about black and colored and Negro, he can say, I don't really know what the issue is here because his identity is not wedded to that.
Right.
It's wedded to his father being a certain example, his grandfather being a certain kind of man. And that's why setting examples and controlling narrative is so very important. Because we all come from communities where there was a man in that community that was known, not outside of that community necessarily, but in that community, he was the go-to guy.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And because that has been diminished to this point where we are almost an endangered species, we have to look at what are the best practices in terms of reconstructing a village and reconstructing a community. Because there are people who get things done, and then there's people who narrate what got done.
I think we should suspend judgment and criticism and unforgiveness. See, you can't have nothing. You can't be the one that's oppressed and then criticizing, judging, and unforgiving all your people who are sharing that oppression. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we all in the same boat. I've said this before. Black people so fucked up, we don't even get to be human with each other. We can't even wax philosophical with each other. Right? If I hurt you, you're an enemy for life. We ain't good no more.
Ain't no burying the hatchet. Unless it's in your back.
And I tell people the reason why it's that way is because that's the only way we can really show any level of power is when we're going after each other. Because if a white man did the same hurtful shit to you, you're not going after the white man the way you'll go after your brother. You know why? Because he's white and the system is there to say, nigga.
And you fear that.
Know your motherfucking place.
And you fear that.
And listen, can we just be real? Now that we're post-Ali, PA, he was one of the last examples of you not finna come after none of mine.
Yeah.
That's true. Man,
so my point is, we have to establish that kind of belief system in our community. I always say, fuck the adults, go to the kids.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to say something insightful. This is probably, this may be borderline illegal, but I'm going to fucking say it. Dear black thugs, those of you who think you hard that are related to somebody who watches this show if you don't. The next time that somebody black dies in your city at the hand of somebody white and you do not spill that person's blood, you ain't shit. And stop telling people how hard you are because you only talking about other black people that you hard with.
I want to give this a couple examples of
nobody will go
Caucasian.
after Mayor Rahm.
Right, Rahm Emanuel.
Rahm Emanuel. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with Rahm Emanuel in Chicago.
They talk that shit about that governor in Detroit, that dude in Detroit.
Right.
Ain't nobody
fucking with the governor in Flint.
Nope.
But I just want to give
Nobody
a couple
fucking with them.
of examples of Caucasians really knowing who you are. So I went to court. This was back when I was really into law. So when I went to court,
shit, as opposed to now.
Well, I was super hardcore into it back in the day. So I'll go to court with a couple of homies, and we wear fezzes to court. So the maroon fez, there was a maroon fez and a black fez. The black fez means the judge. So I had a black fez. I wear it to court. So we leave the courtroom. We're walking across the street, and this white guy comes up to us, this white guy in a suit, and he says, wow, he says, I like those hats. He says, nice hats. And so my friend, he steps back. He said, these aren't hats. These are fezzes. The white guy paused. He stepped back, and he saluted us like that. And then he turned around and walked off. Then the same guy, he was going to a Pan-African festival. He was at a church. He was
the
walking
same
across
guy
the
that was
street.
wearing the fez, or the white guy?
Huh? No, the same. No, my homie. He was
Your
at
homie,
a
okay,
my homie's at a Pan-African festival, and he's walking across. He getting ready to walk across the street to it, and he's at a church. There was a church in front of where he was standing. So this white guy walks up to him. He says, "Wow, you guys got your African festival going on over there?" He said, "Yeah, it's a Pan-African thing going on." He said, "Wow," he says, "you guys are really into African stuff, huh?" He said, "Not me. I'm a Moor." And then the guy shook his hand and said, "It's nice to know someone it's nice to see someone who knows who they are." And then he turned around and walked off. It's us who don't fucking know. They know all damn day. And as long as you keep walking around calling yourself all these goddamn terms that you didn't invent, that black was invented in the 60s when they had a caucus on with the call melanated people because they were coming from colored and Negro, and the term was pushed by scholarly Caucasian people in the conference. People don't understand. You didn't come up with this shit. You just latched on to it because James Brown started saying I'm black and I'm proud, and that shit just trickled on down. But that's not who you are.
Well, I'm more and I'm proud. It doesn't have the same ring.
Jabu.
African Americans have roots in Africa. It kind of hurts me sometimes when I hear people dividing us by saying, "Oh, you are African and I'm African American." We are Africans. We have roots, deep-rooted roots in Africa. We're all Africans, and I would like to see that grow in our communities.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah, mine.
We're not Moors. I understand the social implication of being a Moor. I get it, right? The status, the social status. I understand it 100%. We're not black, and we're not African. Do you see that video with the little white lady? What's her name? I just played a clip of her.
Oh, yeah, I know
Elliot.
you're talking about.
What's her name?
Jane Elliott.
Jane Elliott. Did you see the other video she put out where she showed white supremacy in the creation of the maps?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, where Africa looks
where they made all these other continents small as hell, and they made North America big as shit.
That's right.
She said, this is racism. America, the landmass, can fit 5-10 times inside Africa. But they don't want you to know, right? Let me just say this. Anthropologists, geologists, archaeologists, they know.
Yes, they do.
I tell Pan-Africans or whoever, we are earthlings, not just African. We are earthlings.
Yes.
The planet Earth was populated by black folk. There is no original place for Europeans that wasn't first seeded with humanity by humans. Homo sapien. If we're going to call ourselves anything, just be Homo sapien.
Yes.
The rest of you,
I'm with that.
Y'all are children.
Yes. They are your children.
Genetically speaking, you go to China, they already know.
Yes.
The Chinese people are arrogant than a motherfucker. No disrespect, Kung Pao, my homeboy, the engineer in there, Jay. But they're proud like anybody else. Shit, we're the first people. We're not going to believe that out of Africa theory. We got the Peking man, right? So they go do their little research and then come back and find out that 90% of all of the inhabitants of China was genetically Twa.
Yeah.
Genetically pygmy.
Yeah.
They haven't figured that out. Okay, let's back off of that.
Back off that shit.
All right, damn.
We came from our studies.
The Indian man, he suffered racism too. The empire of Great Britain wanted India so bad because it had already been recontextualized with Augustus.
Not India, not
right?
Casino India.
Yeah, the Indian from India.
Yes.
Well, we have to have that a part of the crown jewel of the Great British Empire, India. So they recontextualized India and created the caste system based on color. You do the genetic work. 75,000 years ago, the first foot that stepped on India was African. And they know this. called himself the brown Caucasian during Paramahansa Yogananda's time. And the brown Caucasian and the white Caucasian can come. You ain't no damn brown Caucasian. You African. And the word Africa is too small for the people that came out of it because we global.
That's right.
Period. Gotta take a quick break. We'll be back.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
I'm Zoe Williams.
And I'm Dr. Mark Goulston.
I'm Jeff Brown. And we make up the Zoe What Morning Show. You can find us here on TRadioV.com every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I make you think.
He makes you laugh, and if I get a chance, I'll help you change.
Or make you cry with his attempts at humor.
Radio in TV.
Can you relate? We'll make it happen.
Look at you. What you doing?
Were you mumbling to yourself?
Hey, back there mumbling.
To them. To them.
Hi kids, Billy and Francesca here for my brand new show at T Radio V, Advice from an Idiot, every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Time. So please call in and get some advice from someone who knows absolutely nothing about everything.
Hello, T Radio V.
Hello for us.
Hi guys.
My name is Steve Renazizi.
My name is Mary Elizabeth Ellis.
My name is Katie Aselton.
You're watching TV on the radio, but you're not watching it, you're listening to it, because radio on TV.
Hi, T Radio V.
Keep that radio going inside that television set.
I love T Radio V.
Trust her.
T Radio V, radio in TV. Radio in TV.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
This morning, my question, will Ray Rice play in the NFL again? Plus, the new film, She's Beautiful When She's Angry. And why FDR moved Thanksgiving. But first, why we can't feel black men's pain. Good morning, I'm Melissa Harris Perry. Pain, agony, suffering, hurt. Our nation is full of pain, pain that has been given voice most recently in Ferguson, Missouri. The specific pain of parents who have lost a child and now know that the police officer who killed him will not face criminal charges. The pain of communities who feel helpless in the face of a system that brings so little justice, a system that seems to supply fresh trauma weekly, adding names to the list of unarmed men and boys whose death is justified by those who claim to have been afraid of them. Oscar, Trayvon, John, Michael, Tamir. The pain of black men themselves. And this is where I want to pause for a moment, this issue of black men's pain, because Americans long have had difficulty in understanding, acknowledging, and having empathy for the pain of black men. For much of our history, black men have been represented as merciless brutes, unpredictable super predators who can strike without warning at any moment. At the turn of the 20th century, George T. Winston, the president of North Carolina College of Agricultural and Mechanic Arts, what is now NC State University, wrote for the leading academic journal, Annals of the American Academy of Political and Social Science, where he waxed nostalgic for the simpler times of slavery and explained that since emancipation, quote, when a knock is heard at the door, a white woman shudders with nameless horror. The black brute is lurking in the dark, a monstrous beast, crazed with lust. His ferocity is almost demonical. A mad bull or a tiger could scarcely be more brutal. Since the abolition of slavery and the growing up of a new generation of Negroes, crimes that are too hideous to describe have been committed every month, every week, frequently every day against the helpless women and children of the white race, crimes that were unknown in slavery. This myth of the black brute, incapable of pain himself, bent on inflicting pain on others, has been a recurring theme in much of American popular culture and politics, from D.W. Griffith's 1915 Birth of a Nation, which was screened by President Woodrow Wilson in the White House, to the unstoppably violent Clubber Lang, whose defeat by the everyman Rocky Balboa in Rocky III is read by some film critics as a less than subtle Reagan-era fantasy about defeating threatening black men. In this nation, when we look at black men and boys, our vision is structured by these powerful, oft-reproduced myths about black men that are deeply embedded in our collective history and psyche. Our history is relevant to our lives and our politics in this moment. We were reminded of this truth as recently as 6 years ago by none other than our current president when he spoke out in Philadelphia about the issue of race in America.
Understanding this reality requires a reminder of how we arrived at this point. As William Faulkner once wrote, the past isn't dead and buried. In fact, it isn't even past. We do not need to recite here the history of racial injustice in this country. But we do need to remind ourselves that so many of the disparities that exist between the African American community and the larger American community today can be traced directly to inequalities passed on from an earlier generation that suffered under the brutal legacy of slavery and Jim Crow.
The past is not even past. Take the recent study in the British Journal of Developmental Psychology showing that starting at around 7 years of age, American children believe that black kids feel less pain than their white counterparts. In the past decade, multiple studies have convincingly shown that doctors offer black patients less pain management care because they believe the pain of black patients is simply less intense, less excruciating than the pain of white patients. During the trial of George Zimmerman for the shooting death of Trayvon Martin, Jason Silverstein of Slate.com cited some of this research when he argued the racial empathy gap helps explain disparities in everything from pain management to the criminal justice system. And the problem isn't just that people disregard the pain of black people. It's somehow even worse. The problem is that the pain isn't even felt. The pain isn't even felt, which brings us back to this week in Ferguson, Missouri, and the question of black men, their bodies, and their pain. Because this week, we learned that when he testified before the grand jury, Officer Darren Wilson said this about 18-year-old Michael Brown. And then, after he did that, Michael Brown, looked up at me and had the most intense, aggressive face. The only way I can describe it, it looks like a demon. That's how angry he looked. And we learned that when he described shooting the unarmed teenager, now former Ferguson.
I'm sorry. I just can't get around this being, although being factual, it calls for something outside of us. It calls for a judicial system to, in the Trayvon case, please feel our pain. Please feel our pain.
You
Please
do know the direction
empathize.
I'm going in
I did
for this show.
I dig your direction. Yes, that why is this the case? Why this is the case? Because the only thing that an aggressor respects is equal or greater aggression.
I get to fuck you over. I get to fuck the shit out of your cornhole when you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your cornhole is available because you don't love yourself.
That's
Now come back. Why don't I love myself? Remember, white people love stats. Very linear. Even on some
Very
spirit
number
shit.
oriented,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then because they like to bottom line the end result behavior. Well, you guys, look at you now. Look at what you are now. Without saying, I did create the system that produced who you are now. They never give you the context for why you are what you are now. But they're quick to judge and go,
what
fuck,
you are.
He looked like a demon. Well, motherfucker, if you wasn't practicing devil worship when I was around, I might not have taken on any of those characteristics. So my whole point to you is we need a cleansing. We need a fast from their education. We got enough multimillionaires to create our own educational institutions, right? We don't want to get into what's the the solar energy game.
Oh my
We got
God.
enough millionaires to get into the solar energy game. No, we
Water.
want the
Enough
big house on the motherfucking hill next to Whitey, so I can prove to Whitey that I deserve to live next door to him.
You ain't got to go that far anymore. They moving back in your neighborhood.
They coming home.
But
The
you got
chickens
to-
come on the roost.
But you got to go though. It's so fascinating when we strip everything down to the barest elements, and that is, what do people thrive off of? And it's comfort, it's certain kind of feelings that you get around certain people, and on your best day, you're around people that make you feel good, and you seem to get more. I get more done when I'm around people that I don't have to carry. And sometimes you slip away from that model and you struggle. And that's when Keith David is famous for saying something that he got from somebody else and got it from somebody else. If you can't change the people around you, change the people around you.
I got two questions for everybody, and starting with Bobby.
I like that.
That shit is powerful, Bobby. But I got to get these questions out.
Sure.
You saw what the lady said about the lack of empathy for black men in America. Recently, the stat has been proven that our sisters are the #1 most educated gender in America. The question to you and everybody here is, are our sisters starting to lose their empathy for us because of their constant escalation or elevation up this system? This system
Started?
But that's the question. Are they starting to disconnect from us? Are they starting to view us through the same parameter that it's a sick system? So if a sick system is rewarding a beautiful sister, is she now taking on the belief system and the way, does she view us in the same way the system views us? Bobby?
Well, of course she does, and it's not. It didn't just start.
Thank
I mean,
you.
it's been going on for hundreds of years. But here's where we get in trouble. We further illuminate that silliness. All right.
Speak on that.
We all know couples that are exemplary. They get no exposure, no publicity.
That's right.
I know brothers who run their household. They got a queen side by side with them. They complement each other. They built together. I got a partner in Nashville. His name is David Campbell. He's getting ready to retire. He's been his wife for about 20-some years now. They got about a 900 credit score. They're going to live like they want to live because they work together. And she's never challenged his authority. Not in that, you better do this kind of way, but just the way that they interact with each other. Nobody has a perfect relationship, but we keep focusing on the folks that don't do it right to the extent where we really don't know it exists as a people. You can only do what you've been exposed to.
Right.
And we're in a culture right now where if a brother and a sister are doing well together and complement each other in that kind of way, I give you an example. Bernard Kinsey, right here in this city, he's been married to Shirley Kinsey for 40 years, and that brother has been an integral part of many of the right things that have happened in the city. After the riots here, he tried to put a lot of money back in the community, but there was resistance. All right, so what he did was he went back home to his woman, and he kept building with her. So we have to really just put the light on the right kind of situation, and it exists, but it's just so few of them.
Right. Now that's a good point. Jeff?
I think when you look at how much has been stacked in the black female mind against the black male, it surprises me that they dig us at all because of sexist chauvinism that we may or may not have ever shown them.
Mm-hmm.
Is heaped upon them when you hear Annie Lennox sing, "Sisters are doing it for themselves." She talking about white women, really. She talking, that's the white woman's fight. But sisters attach themselves and go, yeah, because men ain't shit. And then they look over at us as if there's some money we've kept from them, if there's some power we've kept from them. The one thing that we haven't done is protected them.
Woo! Say more. Go deeper.
We haven't protected them.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
We
Shit.
have not protected sisters. When the master came to rape his wife, and he didn't die. He
He's
should
good
have.
as dead.
He was as good as dead.
Or I didn't die.
I did. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Massa didn't die, or I didn't die.
Or I didn't die.
Something should have happened. Somebody should have died when that happened.
Yeah.
And we did.
And we and instead and nobody and now, except at the hands of one another in anger, nobody wants to die. That's the only way that we seem to be willing to spill blood is with one another. But there is no root by black people that, with the exception of a shout out to Brother Minister Farrakhan, who said, "Look here, I'm not gonna live like this. I would rather die fighting this than to live in this way." We're not at that level of commitment because, again, shit isn't bad enough, in my opinion.
One quick add-on to what he's talking about. I ran into Roots the other night, and just the very end of the first episode, and I was pulling for that brother. He done got on the horse, man. I'm like, man, please get away. Please get away. And they caught him. And I said, that's why I ain't going to watch the rest of this, because we shouldn't even be watching Roots. It should be the Fannie Lou Hamer story. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we done had some folks that got down in our community, man, that have been lost in this discussion to the extent
But
where we
that's
can't
Snoop's
replicate
argument.
them. You know,
That's Snoop's argument.
What?
Yeah.
Snoop is like, I don't want to see no more damn Roots.
Yeah, I
Can
get
we
it.
see some other
I get it.
storyline?
we know how this gonna end.
Yes.
We know what this is about. That's not our only narrative.
How come we didn't rewrite The Help, where when the cop hits the woman in the face, she had been carrying a 38 in her purse, and she shoots him in the face, and all the black people in the South help that sister. Every black person in America helps that sister escape to Canada. How come we got it there? I like that. That's a great fiction.
The next question I got to ask everybody real quick, starting with my man Jabu.
Yep.
Talk about the enmity between Africans and African Americans.
Oh, yeah.
There has been a growing culture where Africans and African Americans feel like they're not the same, feel like they're not from the same roots. There's this, the thing about divide and conquer is still going on today. We're more divided today than we have ever been, because even though you and I look the same, but the fact that I am from South Africa and you're from America, for some reason, that makes us difference. So we need to bridge that gap. We have to find a way to unite.
Jeff?
Well, in my experience, the two sides of the coin, them Africans are fucking arrogant. Africans, you African Americans are lazy motherfuckers. You are lazy. We gotta find a place to where we can take the best from each place, to where we can group around. I do this all the time. When I can find a brother that is from Africa, from a particular part of that continent, I ask him everything I can about the difference between being Ethiopian or Eritrean or Moroccan or they're so we're of the assumption that Africa is like fucking Texas. It's that big. It's all hot. They got a few hotels and the rest of it's jungles. And we got to get out of that. We have to learn about y'all.
Educate each other. Yep.
Yeah. I mentioned this guy, this investment guy I'm talking to from Chicago. He recently just went to South Africa, just came back.
30 seconds.
And he set up business structures with all these Africans over there because they've been trying to link up with people from America but just didn't know how to do it. And then he was talking about when some of the Africans come to America and they get into these classes where they indoctrinate them into how to live in America.
You saw that video with the Egyptian dude?
Yeah, and they're
the black Egyptian dude. He looked like a perfect mixture between an Arab and a black man.
Oh,
You
yeah,
could
the
tell he was
Egypt.
black, but he said, "Hey man, customs told us
don't fuck
with African Americans."
African Americans. That's exactly what I'm talking. Yes.
Where did you get?
Well, that
I
was
didn't
easy.
get any of this.
Well, it was the most successful business venture I've ever had over a period of time was with a brother from Nigeria, because we were able to, out of necessity, deal with the value because of his heavy accent and the reputation of Nigerians in America, he couldn't get through certain doors. And because I had the ability to speak to my people in a language that they understood because we were dealing with real estate, all right, the HUD program. And I was his mouthpiece. And we had to trust each other, but it wasn't hard to do because he was smart and I understood that this guy is brilliant. So a lot of times we just got to look at something and say, what's in it for me, what's in it for you, and then let that be the determining factor of how things go, as opposed to all these other things that get the inhibitors. We got to just get those out of the way and say, okay, can I make some money with this brother? Can he make some money with me? Can he make my life better? Can I make your life better?
Agreed.
Fundamental.
Agreed. Listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, final thought.
Damn, he went by that fast.
Welcome back to the Kaiser Report. I'm Max Kaiser. Time now to turn to Tariq Nasheed. He's the director of Hidden Colors 4, The Religion of White Supremacy. He crowdfunded the film, over $130,000, for the fourth in a series of documentaries, the Hidden Colors series of films. Tariq, welcome back to the Kaiser Report.
Yes, it's my pleasure to be back.
Congratulations. This film it's gaining momentum, the Hidden Colors series, right? That the number 4 is becoming wildly successful.
Yeah, it just came out of the gate, man. It was very successful with the screenings. We had a lot of theatrical screenings across the United States last week. It sold out in every single theater across the country, and now we have the pre-sales up, and on Amazon, it is the #1 documentary. It is the #1 independent film, and it's in the top 10 best-selling of all films, and we're competing with Spider-Man, the Avengers, Star Wars, Harry Potter. So we're going neck and neck with the big dogs right now.
So now you are now the most successful documentarian covering Black America ever now.
Yeah.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. That's radio in TV.
Everybody knows that relationships, when they break down, can be extremely hurtful, disappointing, frustrating, and the cocoon was, the concept of it was created from a poem I wrote called The Human Chrysalis in my first book, The Rebirth of Seeds. And what I explained was, when you break up with someone, you need time and space to kind of flush out and process all of your feelings, all of your attachments, your evaluation of yourself, your evaluation of your partner, time to, you know, almost take inventory of all of the things that you are accountable for. So in chapter 3, you know, the cocoon is designed for you to go inside and work out these you know, particular problems or issues, and not only work them out, but actually take ownership of them before you jump into something else with someone else. So we wanted to create this space of healing, this space of kind of internal inventory before moving into the next situation with unresolved relationship debris.
You gotta let it go. There's a better day waiting for you, for you, for you.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
So I have a few heroes in my life, and one of them passed away. Malcolm X, he passed away. Krishnamurti, he passed away. I meant to say one of them passed away recently. Bruce Lee, he passed away. And now recently, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. I have a child who is in college, and Bobby can attest to this. The baton that I've given him was not a baton that I was running in the race with, right? I wasn't a part of the race. You know, I never made it as high as he did as an athlete. But the baton I got was symbolic of the baton Jim Brown had. The baton, I should say has, the baton Ali had. I'm talking to my son every day. You've got to be somebody who stands for something real that's bigger than just you. You think he ain't getting pushback? People say, how come he ain't on the court? It ain't because he can't play. Oh, your son is Lil Farrakhan, is what I heard. Your son is militant, is what I heard. You know what I said? Define militant. Did he show up on campus with a gun? Or did he ask you a question?
Should have brought that pistol.
See, you can't have a Muhammad Ali today because the system is in place to detect them before they develop and get their platform to make a global impact when they call you on your bullshit. This motherfucker smell like an Ali. Not here. You're not gonna be Aliing up in this motherfucker. We gonna cut you off before you get that platform. Again, we've got to break up with the white supremacist definition of success and happiness. We got to break up with that concept. Happiness is internal work, not external acquisition. Got to know the difference. You were raised in a capitalist, consumer-based society that says get, and you'll be happy. But that's not how it works. You can't find God in a book, in a temple. You find God inside. But if I took God out of your educational system, and I take God out of your self-esteem mechanism, give you a different image of God altogether, I know you'll be my servant for life. I know I can treat you in the way I treat chattel, my animals. I give you the definition of success. Isn't that what Donald Sterling said? I give these dudes the lifestyle they got. I'm helping their community by allowing them to play for the Clippers. You trying to tell me this ain't real? Oh, I don't let my son play for your AAU team and you call one of his coaches? You know what one of the dudes said to me that runs an AAU squad? I ain't gonna say his name. When he found out my son was going down south, he said, oh yeah, we got him anyway. You didn't let him play for us, but one of ours got him anyway. Wow. Damn what they think about you. It's about what you think about yourself. Sisters, I love you to death, but you got to break up with the white man's definition of success. You can't judge your brother who is under attack. You cannot judge him by the criteria that is coming from a sick, depraved culture. You got power. You're the power source in our relationships. When you believe in us, shit start happening. But if you don't believe in us because we're not in alignment with a poisonous society, that makes you an advocate for white supremacy. If your degree matters more than me and what we can do together, then we're dead. The system rewards black masculine docility. As long as you're docile and pliable, they know how to keep a Muhammad Ali from rising up again. They know the telltale traits. He's narcissistic. He's oppositional. They're working on him when they're babies. And you validate it when you pick a beta male to build a family with.
Thank you.
I'm Zoe Williams, and that's my final thought. Bobby?
Look at here, y'all. This is a medical device in Japan. First person that purchased one of them through me was this man right here. Change your water, change your life. Real men don't play. Get at me at Glanton Smith on Twitter.
Kev?
You guys can go to realnagas.com. That's REELNAGAS. And check out the website. I have the shop up, so I have Dragon Moore shirts and iPhone 6 cases, hoodies. Also just got Phoenix Moore shirts in today and Ladies Phoenix Moore shirts. So go on there, check that out, and look it up.
Jabu.
I'm Jabu, the transformative artist. You can check out my work at artistjabu.com. And you can also find me on Facebook and follow as I paint live every day. Thank you.
Listen, Jeff?
This Wednesday, do not miss it.
Where the picture?
I know, right?
Right.
Roscoe's Lounge, Speedy will be one of my headliners, Speedy the comedian. Very funny brother.
Hey, tell Speedy to stop poaching talent from my show. I see you, Speedy. No, it's fine with you, Speedy.
Come through. Don't miss it. I promise the book is coming soon. Everybody hit me up online about the book. It's coming very, very soon.
Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. I'm here to tell you it isn't easy to raise a young black male in the hopes that he will become a new age type of Ali. It ain't easy. But that's what I'm trying to do with mine. I love everybody for supporting this show.
I can see that.
But I want you to do more than just watch it and learn from it and be challenged by it. I want you to support everybody on here. I want you to cash mob everybody on here. With that said, we'll be back next week with another barn burner. Zoe What Morning Show, we out.
Peace.
It's all about you. Yeah. Sam, I just want to rap to you for a second.
You are watching T Radio V. Radio and TV.